Hey everyone, it is good to be back with you all. I want to talk about something really important today, something that I have learned the hard way. It is about those things that we might think are helping us or that we are just used to, but in reality, they can really hold us back from where we want to be financially. Trust me, I have been there, done that, and lost quite a bit of my hard-earned money in the process. If someone had told me these things a few years ago, I honestly think I would be in a much better financial position right now. I made a lot of these mistakes myself, especially when I was younger, and I really hope that by sharing my experiences, I can help you avoid some of the same pitfalls. It is not about being perfect, but about being smart and learning from those who have already stumbled. It is about setting yourself up for success, giving yourself the best possible chance to build something truly meaningful. Not just for a quick buck, but for a long-term, sustainable financial future. The first point, and this might sound a little harsh, but it is something I truly believe you need to create some distance from certain influences in your life, sometimes even friends and family. I am not saying you should abandon anyone, but you need to understand that your environment heavily shapes your behavior. When I was younger, I did not really understand this. I was living at home, surrounded by the same routines, the same conversations, and frankly, the same financial habits that were not leading me anywhere good. I was comfortable, too comfortable maybe. And that comfort kept me from pushing myself. It was easy to stay in my bubble, to not challenge myself, to not take those uncomfortable steps needed for real growth. When I finally moved out, even though it was only about 45 minutes away, it felt like a huge step. I was 23 years old, and it was the first time I was truly on my own, responsible for everything. This was not a planned move to chase financial success, but rather a personal family situation that forced my hand. Looking back, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I remember the shock of having to pay for my own rent, my own groceries, even my own toilet paper. It was a wake-up call before that. I was just paying a small amount for room and board, and honestly, I did not really grasp the true cost of living. That move forced me to confront reality. It was scary, exciting, and incredibly lonely at first. I was trying to get a streaming startup off the ground, which, spoiler alert, failed miserably. But even in that failure, I learned so much because I was completely self-reliant. That year, 2022, was a turning point for me. My income went from around $50,000 to $330,000. That jump was not just about working harder, it was about changing my environment and forcing myself to be accountable. It was about realizing that if I did not make things work, there was no safety net, no one to bail me out. That pressure, that self-imposed isolation, was exactly what I needed to find my focus and drive being alone. Especially in the beginning of building something serious, is often a necessary part of the journey when you are constantly surrounded by people who spend freely. It is incredibly hard not to fall into the same patterns. The peer pressure to keep up financially, to go out, to buy things, to participate in activities that cost money. It can slowly erode your savings goals without you even realizing it. It distracts you from your main objective. And sometimes, even meaning family and friends can unintentionally discourage you from taking risks, like starting a business or pursuing an entrepreneurial venture, because they are worried about your security. They might tell you to get a real job to be safe. It is natural for them to feel that way, but it can be incredibly limiting for your aspirations. I am not saying to cut ties, but creating physical and emotional space can give you the clarity and focus you need to pursue your goals without constant external influence. Sometimes, moving to a lower cost of living area, even temporarily while you are building your income, can give you a huge advantage. You can maintain your income or even increase it, while significantly reducing your expenses, allowing you to save and invest more aggressively. Or, if you are looking for opportunity, moving to a city where innovation thrives, even if it is more expensive, can be incredibly motivating when you are around people who are making big moves, who are achieving incredible things financially. That energy is contagious. It rubs off on you. You can always reconnect when you are financially stable, when you have built that solid foundation. But those early years are crucial for building something substantial. I did this, and it worked perfectly. I do not think I would be where I am today if I had not made that move and embraced that period of intense self-focus. My second big lesson, and this one hit me hard, is to give up chasing material things. Seriously, every dollar you spend on something that does not generate income or appreciate in value is a dollar that is not being invested in your future. It is a dollar that could have been working for you, building your wealth. When I was in my early 20s, I fell into this trap. I wanted the nice clothes, the latest gadgets, the flashy stuff. I thought it would make me feel successful, that it would project an image of success, but it just dug me deeper into a financial hole. This lifestyle inflation, where your spending increases as your income increases, is the absolute enemy of wealth accumulation, especially when you are just starting out. It is a huge distraction from what truly matters. Think about it. What if that extra couple of $100s a month you are spending on clothes or eating out or unnecessary gadgets could be invested into your business? Could it go into Facebook ads to reach new customers, or a cold email system to scale your outreach, or even into a course that teaches you a valuable skill that directly impacts your income? It is about understanding opportunity cost. What is the true cost of that new pair of shoes? Not just in terms of dollars, but in terms of lost potential investment. For me, I realized that I needed to invest in myself and my business above all else. I even paused my investments in the stock market and real estate for a while. Just to pour everything into what I was building, I needed to become the asset, and anything that did not directly contribute to that was a distraction. Material things do not build wealth, skills, and assets do. I promise you, once you let go of the need to impress others with possessions, once you stop the mindless consumption, you will find a surprising amount of freedom and a lot more money in your pocket that can be put to much better use. Focus on what truly moves the needle for you, which is almost always yourself and your ability to create value in the world. Give up the BS of consumerism, it is just holding you back. Third, you have to stop worrying about things you cannot control. This is a huge one for mental energy and focus, and it is something I see far too often. I used to spend so much time and emotional energy on things that had absolutely no bearing on my life or my financial future. I would get caught up in political debates online, celebrity gossip, or even just random internet drama. I would spend hours thinking about things that were completely outside of my control. It was a complete waste of time, and frankly, it was draining. That mental energy, that precious resource that could have been used to build my business, improve my skills, or even just take better care of myself, was instead being squandered on meaningless distractions. It is incredibly easy to get sucked into the negativity and the noise, especially with social media constantly bombarding us with information. But at the end of the day, those things do not pay your bills, they do not grow your net worth, and they certainly do not make you a happier or more productive person. I realized I needed to focus only on my circle of influence, the things I could actually impact: the weather, global politics, what some athletes I will never meet is doing. These are all outside my control. They do not care about my success. So why should I invest so much of myself into their narratives? It makes no sense. I even had to take a break from social media, which was really hard at first. It felt like I was glued to my phone, constantly scrolling, constantly comparing myself to others. It was an addiction. But when I finally deleted some apps and started setting strict limits on my usage, it was like a huge weight was lifted. My focus improved dramatically, and I found myself with so much more time and energy to dedicate to what truly mattered. Worrying never solved a financial problem. Action does. Actually doing something about your situation does. When you are constantly distracted by things you cannot control, you become slow, lethargic, and unable to adapt quickly. When conditions change, successful people pivot quickly. They are agile, and you can only do that if your mind is clear and focused on your goals. That clarity came for me in 2022, and it was a pivotal year, setting the stage for everything that followed. I was able to save a significant amount, between $100,000 to $150,000 net. That year, seeing it in my checking account was an incredible feeling. It was proof that focusing on what I could control, my business, my effort, truly paid off. That hyperfocus, for just 2 to 3 years, completely changed my financial trajectory, allowing me to build $1 million liquid net worth. Finally, and this might seem a little trivial, but it is surprisingly effective: remove physical distractions around your home. Your environment either supports your goals or sabotages them. When I was really trying to buckle down and build my business, I made some drastic changes to my living space. I remember one guy commenting on a video asking if he could still play video games while building a business. I had to laugh, not at him, but because I had been in that exact same situation, it made me remember my own struggles and what I had to do. I used to have my PlayStation set up and I loved playing, but when I got serious about my financial goals, I literally unplugged it, threw away the power cord, and told myself I would not buy a new one until I hit a significant financial milestone, like $100,000 in liquid assets. It sat in the corner of my bedroom, gathering dust. The controller actually started to melt a bit from the heat because it was not being used. The thumbsticks became gross and disgusting. It was tough for the first week or two to break that habit, but after that, everything became so much easier. That simple act of removing a distraction made a huge difference. In my ability to focus, it was a physical representation of my commitment. Your physical space affects your mental space. You need to keep a clean, organized, and functional environment. Remove the TVs from your workspace, remove the gaming system, or at the minimum, limit their accessibility and put them away when you are trying to work. Create a dedicated workspace, even if it is just a desk and a monitor. That is solely for productive tasks. I do not care if you have to meal prep to avoid the distractions of cooking every night. I do not care if you have to automate your bills and your finances to just keep everything running smoothly without constant attention. Your home should be a productivity sanctuary, a place where you can focus and create, not a freaking movie theater or an entertainment center. This is especially true in the first year of building your business or focusing on your financial goals. Every little bit of focus you can reclaim adds up. It compounds over time. I know these things might sound simple, maybe even a little extreme to some, but these are the lessons I learned the hard way, the mistakes that cost me time and money. My goal here is to share my raw, honest experience so you do not have to make the same ones. I want to see you win. Truly, this is about building a better future for yourself, one where you are in control of your finances and your time. If you have any questions or your own experiences to share, please leave a comment below. I am always happy to chat and learn from this community. We are all on this journey together.